Hello and welcome back to Teach and Flourish, the podcast with me, Kel Bell. Today we're talking about what you can do to protect yourself as a busy teacher. So if you're caught up in the rush of this term, I would love to share with you 3 simple ways that you can make a huge difference with your time, your energy, and your well-being in a really busy term. Now, I know teachers are feeling the pinch. Teaching is busy, life is busy. Often, as a busy teacher, we get caught up in the busyness of a term and we forget to breathe. And it usually is term 2 here in Australia, where we have lots of marking, lots of assessments to do, the marking of those assessments, the feedback to give back around those assessments, the reports to write as a result of those assessments, the parent-teacher nights to have as a result of the feedback that you're giving and the grades and the assessments your kids are doing, and then open night subject selection for high schools. It's all happening all at once in term 2. Add to that athletics carnivals and cross countries. It is a super busy term, and I'm really not sure why teachers and principals still jam-pack so much into term 2 here in Australia. And members inside my communities are already feeling the pinch of a busy term. We're only halfway through. They're saying things to me like, Kel, I just don't know how I can keep going. I feel so supported by all of your resources and all of your masterclass materials, all those sorts of things, your teaching packages, but I just can't keep going. Teachers are having lots of time off and sickness is around, colds and flus and all those sorts of things, COVID rearing its ugly head again. And look, it's time for you to breathe. It's time for you to take a stop and work out, do you want to be, floundering your way through, crawling to the end of term 2 and then flourishing at the end of the year? Or do you want to actually take a break? Take a very small break, work out where you are and reevaluate things and then move on to the rest of the term. And I'm sharing with you very simple strategies that are no-brainers for you to implement in your classrooms. And these encompass my framework to flourishing as a busy teacher. So there are 3 simple things that you can have a look at when we are talking about our time, our energy, and your well-being. And I'm on a mission to change the way we do things here in Australia, change the way we teach, change the way we program, change the way we, busy ourselves with the job, because teachers are burnt out and are still leaving the classroom in droves. So let's first of all talk about our time. I liken our time, to me, it's your most precious resource. We can never get that back. Once it's gone, we can't get it back. So it's like a finite resource, like a water in a reservoir or in a pool or in the ocean. I'm at Kilcare on the Central Coast in New South Wales. So we do have bounty of water here, but I liken our time like a reservoir. Like a reservoir can be filled up. We can fill up that reservoir. It can also be drained and it can also run dry. So at the moment, your time is probably about halfway because it's starting to drain out. You're starting to feel the pinch of a very busy term, very busy year. And I really still think that we're still in the hangover of COVID. There is a lot of sickness around, but people have been pushing so much that they're finally getting to a stage where, there's some sort of normality in the world and in Australia, but they are still feeling the pinch of that rush and that, that craziness that happened during COVID. Now we kind of have that calm, but things are still hanging around. So see your time as a reservoir. And where is it? Is it full? Is it kind of draining out, or is it completely drained and there's just the dregs at the bottom? And I know when we have just those dregs, we're clutching at straws, trying to, swim our way to the top, but we're really struggling with, maintaining that time. And I think it's really important for us to have a think about what that time means. And if you are looking at projects and other things at your school, have a think about, can you actually fit that into your life right now? Can you actually approach that project, that task with the energy that it needs. And for most teachers, they're like, my day is full. If you're a primary school teacher, if you're an early educator, the days are very busy and very full. There is very limited time to actually do anything else, let alone your director, let alone your principal, let alone your stage leader, your coordinator, adding anything else to your busy plate and your busy schedule. And I'd love for you to have a look at that new project, that new task. And if you don't actually value that, if you don't actually have the time to do it, then don't do it. Simply say no. And I think a lot of teachers are recovering people pleasers. Hand up over here. If you're watching the YouTube recording of this, my hand is really high because for such a long time, for lots of my life, I have been someone who has said yes, especially as a young teacher. And I think, all the way through lots of my career, I was someone who said yes to everything. Because I didn't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out. I have massive FOMO in life, but also at school, in teaching. And I think, for teachers, we need to really protect ourselves. We don't get that time back. Okay, our next resource is our energy. We do have limited energy as well. It's really important for us to think about that energy. And, is it flickering? Does it have a really, really strong flame? Or is it kind of waning out? And I think for us, it's really important to have a look at the projects, the people, the processes that we have in front of us, and think about what they do to us. Because some things, some people, some processes, and some projects definitely test us to the max. And I think I would love for you to have a look at those things on your plate and think about, do they fuel your day or do they drain your energy? And if they drain you, then do more of what you love. If they drain you, work out a better way to deal with that person, to deal with that project, or to tackle what is ahead of you. Because if you're not in it, then it's really hard to give it your all. If you're not really in something, it's then really, you're kind of spreading yourself thin across the school. And like I said at the beginning, term 2 is really busy. Term 2 is the most craziest term for teachers. And I'm not sure why we keep doing it to ourselves, because at some point, to have the energy to show up, to have the energy to show up in front of your kids and your staff and your family and your friends, it is quite tricky for teachers. All right, let's have a look at your well-being. And I think it's really important that you put yourself first. A lot of us as family members, as partners, as busy teachers, we put ourselves last. You need to prioritize yourself. You need to put yourself at the forefront and protect your well-being. Your health and well-being is the most important thing for you to show up, for you to function as a busy teacher. And we're not replaceable. Yes, we might be replaceable at work. And I know when I left the classroom back in July 2020 because of burnout, I literally had someone replace me the very next day after I resigned. And while I knew I was, seen as the expert across many parts of my teaching area and at our school, the person that did replace me, she didn't have the experience, but the school said to the classes I had, "Oh, Miss is an expert. Miss is a guru in this, this, and this." They replaced me straight away. But you're not replaceable in your family. Your kids need you. Your partner needs you. Your dogs and your fur babies need you. Your family, your extended family need you. Your friends need you. But our work, our vocation is still simply a job. And it's really important that you put yourself first. So looking at the 6 aspects of your well-being, so your social well-being, making sure that you can actually be there with your friends, make time for your friends and family, your physical well-being, making sure you're getting enough sleep. And for you, it might be 7 hours, it might be 8 hours, it might be 9 hours, but making sure you're actually restoring your sleep. Are you eating healthy food? Are you drinking plenty of water? Are you exercising? Are you moving? So that's your physical well-being. In terms of your emotional well-being, what are you doing to protect yourself? Are you, potentially doing some journaling or managing your own emotions? I think lots of people definitely test our emotions and our mental health, but it's really important that you're prioritizing that. Are you setting up yourself for success in your future and those goals that you have through your economic well-being? Do you have those financial priorities in check? Because if you're just half a version of yourself, you can't do the good quality work that you're paid for and that your principal expects of you, your leaders expect of you. In terms of your cultural well-being, are you carving out enough time for your family, religious commitments, cultural commitments, and are you also looking after yourself spiritually? And that can mean different things. Those goals and priorities that you have set for yourself, what are your achievements? What are you doing to work towards those goals that you have in your life? Are you carving out time for some mindfulness or some meditation to look after yourself? Now, I would love to hear from you what you're trying to do to protect your precious time, energy, and well-being. What is working for you, and maybe what you're struggling with, because I think sometimes we kind of need to get the basics right. And as busy teachers, we do everything else for everyone else and then forget about ourselves. It's really important that we put ourselves at the top of the priority list, at the top of the priorities, because if you're not doing your job, if you can't show up for your kids, for your students, for your family, then what's it all for? If you can't do the job that you're employed for, if you can't do the beautiful work in your family, connect with your friends, then at the end of the day, we're just a very small version of ourselves. So thank you for tuning in today to Teach and Flourish. I'd love to hear what you would like to listen to next. And I have some really exciting guests coming on board in lots of areas of teaching. So I can't wait to share that with you. And if you've loved today's episode, please don't hesitate to share it with your colleagues and your friends. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care.